and the political temperature ahead of 2027 is rising. The campaigns now are now officially on, but things are gradually getting clearer and taking clearer shape. The APC is assembling its campaign, and the machinery has been unveiled. A lot of issues have now been raised. There are those who have picked holes in how the campaign and some of the names or the names on the list and the names omitted. But beyond all of these are critical issues. So whether or not this team can get the job done, especially being led by our former governor of Zamfara State and the secretary being the governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma, and being joined by the spokesperson of the APC, Mr. Felix Morka, to shed light on some of these issues. Many thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you, my dear brother.
One of the issues here is a fundamental moral issue around the release of your presidential campaign council. How does the APC guarantee Nigerians that a campaign council populated by powerful serving officials will not blur the line between the Nigerian state and the Tinubu campaign?
Sean, the constitutional freedom of every individual, of every citizen, to participate in the governance processes, electoral processes of their country, trumps every consideration. You don't abridge the right of any Nigerian to participate, their right to choose, their right to vote, their right to be involved, to associate with others in making decisions that affect their country and how it's governed. That is never to be abridged. So look, that question that you ask is secondary to the constitutional recognition of the rights of these individuals as persons under the law. And why not, really, should be the question. Why should any Nigerian be excluded from the political process? And Shewan, this is probably the most significant election in our lifetime so far, because the build-up to this election has been heavy. So every Nigerian who chooses, who wishes to participate, should be enabled to participate. So I don't think that's really a question that is of
I mean, the power of the purse, the power of security issues. How do we understand that these people will not take issue of state partisan and will not affect governance?
First of all, the fact that they occupy these eminent positions, you must grant them the facility that they are capable of multitasking. They are capable of performing the functions of their office, while at the same time performing as members of the Presidential Campaign Council. I don't think there's any tension that I see. There's no tension because these are individuals who, listen, what's the population of this country? So when you find yourself in the top 1% of the leadership of the country, it suggests that you actually possess the kind of skills, the kind of competence, the kind of personality, and for that matter, political maturity to be able to actually discern between your primary job in whatever role you have, whether as Senate President or as Senate Minister, but also, as a citizen who has every constitutional freedom to participate in these processes.
Because, Mr. Morka, the issue is the dangerous line that there are a lot of people, and those lines could be blurry. They could be blurry to the extent that people could use the power of their offices to be able to impact on the election or the electionary process.
No,
if Nigerians can get a promise from your party that those who are being given a saddle with the responsibility of running the affairs of this country will not use those interests into partisanship, into campaigns, into electionary processes, and which on the rest of the Nigerian populace.
There's no country of the world. Let's leave Nigeria for a minute. There's no country of the world, whether it's the United States or Great Britain or South Africa or any country in Asia, where public officials who are either cabinet ministers or who hold significant positions do not participate or are excluded from participating in these, kinds of processes. There's no conduct of war. So there's no democratic idea or concept or law or precept that suggests that people who hold positions like that must be excluded. And our constitution doesn't do that. So you see, if this was, if
it's a moral issue. That's why I started with
morality.
Whether or not your party understand that sensitivity,
no,
and you're not able to rubbish the sensitivity of the Nigerian state and its governance in the mud of politics.
No, see, countries are governed by laws, and there's the reason for that, because laws are objective. They're an objective category of,
But morality is at the spine of the society.
Morality sits somewhere behind the law. Especially when you're talking about the Constitution. Morality is not a competitor to the Constitution. You don't compete with the Constitution.
But you are saying APC may be morally wrong, but legally right.
No.
That's
I'm not
what you're
saying
saying.
APC is morally, justified. Because the morality is also about the personal, the essence of the humanity of these individuals. Imagine that you tell anyone who holds public office that you may not participate in the electoral process because you hold public office. There are many of them who will say, you know what, listen, I will give up my public office in order to participate. Because, see, there are some things that are transcendental. Participating in the electoral system of your country to decide, to express your God-given right to choose amongst competing alternatives who governs. That is a right that trumps even the administrative,
was this document produced by the party?
What is this?
That's the campaign council. The 108-member list
was delivered by the All Progressives Congress, announced by officials of the,
what I'm asking?
Yes, what do you ask?
What we would imagine that the party leads the campaign.
And who says the party is not leading the campaign?
The president and the vice president, and the chairman and the vice chair.
Are you privy to the conversations
so I'm asking,
on the party side?
No, we want to know. So because one will imagine in the Second Republic, you see how things will play out. The party takes preeminence, and the candidates or those who are seeking office, they're secondary. The primary and the highest organ of any administration of the party affairs is the party. So imagine your national chairman is a vice chairman too.
What's the point?
The point is, one will imagine that the party should be leading this, not the other way around.
What precedent?
And you remember, in the Second Republic, you see. Just a moment. I'm imagining that things are supposed to be done right. You see the party leaders on this side of the stage, and you see the candidate, whoever you may be, governor, whatever, you see on the other side.
Why are you going back to the Second? That's very distant. We had republics since the Second Republic. Why are you fascinated by the Second Republic?
Because there are those, that moment is when some people think that a lot of things were right in the administration of our political party.
A lot of things were also fundamentally flawed by the Second Republic. Let's not romanticize the Second Republic.
We pick some of the things that are right.
Look, some things.
So you think this is perfect?
Is it perfect? First of all, don't forget that Mr. President is the leader of the All Progressives Congress. That, I think, is, undisputable. He's the leader of the party.
He's the candidate of the party.
He's the candidate of the party, but also the leader of the party.
By that way, the tool in the hands of the party.
No,
the party owns the candidate. The party owns the structure.
That I think
the party gave President Bola Tinubu the ticket.
That is
he is at the BS of the party.
That is a no-brainer.
Not above the party.
That is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Yet, he's the leader of the party.
The number one man in your party is your national chairman. Do you agree?
See, listen, we can't come here to begin to quibble about the structure and the essence of the structure of our party. I just told you, the national chairman, Professor, Yuwada, will not tell you he's the leader of the party. The leader of the party is quite different from the national chairman of the party. That, I think, is universal. It's acknowledged. I'm not saying anything that's new. But the point I'm making is that you cannot also come and discount the relevance and the vitality of the leadership of the party. Now, the party, with its leadership in forming or naming a campaign council, is done in close consultation. Now, if the party, like we've done, decided that Mr. President will be chairman of the party, that's our prerogative to decide. We're not liable to, conforming with any type of standards, especially that of the ADC, that has yet to announce their own campaign council. Because a lot of this conversation is has been
Senator Abdulaziz Yari, is that a joker to become the DG of the campaign?
What do you mean by joker?
Well, I'm asking.
Senator Yari
what is significance?
Eminently qualified to serve as DG of this presidential campaign council. He was a former governor. He's a serving senator.
What informed the choice?
What informed the choice? His competence, his versatility, his ability to be restless in mobilizing Nigerians, to work for the party. The party is we're in an electoral war mode. An election is a heavily contested program. So you want to enlist all of those who have the stamina, the energy, the enthusiasm to compete. Senator Yari is one of those citizens who has been named as.
You're going into the campaign, Mr. Morka, and you're asking, simply you're telling Nigerians that please give President Bola Tinubu another shot at leading this country for another 4 years.
Correct.
And I'm going to ask, on what basis are you going to say that? That he has performed, or he has yet to perform, or he will perform, or he's given a chance that whether he can repair what has not worked? On what basis?
On the basis that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has outperformed any president in his first term, has outperformed any democratically elected president in this country.
What are the indicators
in their first term? The indicators
are,
you see, I'm surprised you're asking this question. The indicators are res ipsa loquitur, as we say in law. They speak for themselves. This president inherited an economy that was completely in a mess.
From another AP.
No, don't be in a hurry, my dear brother.
No, but that's
hang on. Yeah. I will answer you. Has been in a mess from generational causation. And I think on this show, I've said this repeatedly, that President Buhari was a stopgap president that really came to keep the country from tipping over the precipice of 16 years of horrific maladministration of the PDP government. Yes, President Buhari served his term, did his job to hold the country still for President Tinubu to enter. And now enter President Tinubu. This president has taken the economy that was where it was and transformed Nigeria to a point now where even critics like Madam Obi Ezekwesili now formally accept that you must give the flowers to this president for really taking Nigeria from where it was to where it is today, where Nigeria now on the macroeconomic level has fixed a lot of the serious flaws and faults that this president inherited as president, and which sets the stage for what now promises to be a remarkable return of our country on a path of sustainable progress and prosperity, going forward on a microeconomic level. You see, these things, it's not just about the World Bank and the IMF and all the rating agencies, even those who...
It's not about them.
No, it's not,
you don't care about the facts.
No. It's not just about
not about the data, not about the figures.
My point is that it's not just about them. It's not just about what they say. Because all of them, I think, are unanimous in commending and applauding this administration for the fantastic job this president has done. But I'm saying that even local, domestic Nigerian critics, I was completely astounded when I listened to Obi. I mean, I heard her remarks saying that you must grant this president that facility to say this president has done very well on a macroeconomic level. Now you see, everything is about gestation. Macroeconomics is related to microeconomics, and you can't fix your microeconomics without fixing your macroeconomics. This president, I don't think there's anyone in this country who seriously will contend today that we have come out of the woods on a macroeconomic level. And we're now working on the nitty-gritty of the macroeconomics bread and butter issues to fix that.
Data can make you and data can mar you. But just a moment.
Yes.
How does a governing party campaign on reform success when by the World Bank's assessment, roughly 6 in 10 Nigerians are living below the national poverty line? What do you tell these poor people? And the people that said about 37% of our population are hungry, cannot feed themselves.
Can I ask you, can you check your system, your computer, and pull up the figures pre-2015? How many Nigerians were living in poverty? Pull up the figures and tell me. You see, we can be dramatic all you want. We can just throw numbers around and frame issues that appear to be, really confounded. But the fact of the matter is that, and the truth of the matter, and I'm not saying this lightly, because, as you know, my background, as a veteran human rights lawyer and activist, I can tell you, I fought governments in this country. But the reason I devoted my youth fighting governments was because these governments did not. Poverty was excruciating, has always been excruciating. And today, we are coming up with a system where a president is beginning to get a handle. He didn't seek to be populist, to do what Nigerians wanted to hear, to just simply appease Nigerians and score political points, like Atiku Abubakar is trying to do, with his promise to return Nigeria to the horrendous, really devious.
Because his conversation, Atiku's conversation is that whatever policy that the Bola Tinubu government has put in place in terms of free subsidy removal and how he went about it, it's made more Nigerians poor. And the question that a lot of Nigerians might be asking is, when Bola Tinubu met them before May 28, 2023, and now, has their lives been better or made better? That's a question and if any person will be asking.
No.
So the question I'm asking, can you tell Nigerians and look them in the face, Mr. Morka, as a spokesperson of the ruling party, that Nigerians' lives are better today than it was before President Bola Tinubu took office?
I will look at the camera straight on and speak.
And you will not lie.
I won't speak to you. Shehu, you know me, I don't lie.
That's what I'm saying. So
No.
if you're able to say the truth.
Shehu, I'm Felix Morka. You know, I've never come on your show. You never, caught me in a lie. So I'm not going to start now. Fact of the matter is that this president on day one told Nigerians that things will be tough. Things have been tough. But like anyone who understands the whole logic of renovation, when you renovate your house, first you make a mess. You fix things. You recreate what was in order to make it better. This president has demonstrated political will that no other president has demonstrated to tackle Nigeria's aging problems at its roots. Today, this country is on the threshold, on the cusp of renewal, on the cusp of the kind of transformation that is, unparalleled in the history of our country. Presidents have come and gone, but President Jonathan was the president. President Yar'Adua was president. President Obasanjo was president.
And you say Bola Tinubu is better than all of them put together.
You know what?
No, that's what you said on this program.
Shehu, let me tell you, I am not naming names of presidents.
But you said it's
but
better than all the presidents.
I can tell you that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and I say that and I double down on that when this is all said and done, that this president will emerge the most, honest, the most candid, the most effective president this country has seen in our republics, in our civilian republics. And I say that without equivocation, because you know what? All of the presidents you mentioned who came before him, all romanced the problem, the festering wound of this country, didn't lift a finger to do
What do you say to the failures of this government?
To the what?
To the failures of this government.
To the failures.
In the policies and the deliverables.
What failures? Tell me.
The many killings that we have seen.
Killings?
Yeah, the microeconomic side that they said, oh, we're still working on it, it will take shape, but it hasn't taken shape yet.
But you understand, and I'm sure you ask this question because you are a veteran journalist, you ask on behalf of those
the people.
Absolutely. Yeah. Not because you don't understand it, but let me tell Nigerians, when you come into a system, macroeconomics is the superstructure of an economy. That's where it happens. It is the macroeconomic conditions that give rise to conditions on a microeconomic level. Now, if you don't fix your macroeconomics like this president is fixing, you can never, not today, not tomorrow, not ever, have microeconomic conditions that are favorable to the people, to our people, that this president really took an oath to serve. So my point to you is that the president is doing exactly what he was elected to do, to fix the problem at its roots. And I think globally, I just referenced, every Nigerian who, is capable of objectivity has said that this president has done enormously well. And I don't think that's in dispute. Nigerians are listening.
Yeah.
If you see a lot of the Vox Populi, the Vox, if you will, whatever, that every Nigerian who has been asked have said that Atiku Abubakar is simply, appealing to just populist sentiments.
All right.
When he says he's going to return subsidy. Because, Shehu, I want to watch a show where you will bring His Excellency, former Vice President, to this show to ask him exactly just a simple question. How exactly do you plan to pay for the subsidy that you have told Nigerians you will return, assuming you're elected? I know he's not going to get elected because Nigerians know better than to elect a man who is simply speaking, to the air.
Thank you. I think that we need more debate over these policies. But I need you to think about the Hatch Act in the U.S. That bars or restrict some public officials. I know the Secretary of Treasury, the Secretary of Defense, the Attorney General in the U.S. are not, they are restricted in some ways in partisan and in party conventions. In fact, Hillary Clinton, in almost 4 decades in the U.S., missed the Democratic convention because at the time she was sitting as the Secretary of State. So I needed, and that's why I asked the moral question, and whether Nigerians can trust your party, that those who are holding those sensitive roles in government will not be partisan in the course of this electionary.
What do you mean partisan? You see, a lot of cabinet officials are appointed by the president.
Yeah.
They're not civil servants. They're appointees. They're political appointees. Political appointees. So when you appoint an individual to serve in any capacity, a political appointment that is at the discretion, at the prerogative of the president, such an individual serves as it does. And their constitutional right, like I said earlier.
We leave it to the Nigerian people too. We leave it to the Nigerian people. I'll put the issues there. Yeah.
So,
Felix
that's what it is.
Spokesperson of the APC. It's going to be an interesting next few weeks. Thank you so much indeed.
Thank you so much.